Hi guys, and welcome to a tabled podcast review of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar book. So I managed to pick this book up this morning from the post office where it had been waiting for me for a couple of days, and I've had a chance to have a look through it with enough detail to do a first impression review of the book. I'll start off by saying that at the moment I've been gifted by the Plague Father, so if my voice sounds funny or if I have to stop for a coughing fit, that's why. So to begin with, the book itself, this is a really big, really meaty tome. Gorgeous production quality as ever with a Games Workshop book. It is easily three times the size of your standard army book or codex. Not that there aren't any army books anymore, of course. You've got you've as you now come to expect, lovely colour print on the front with the embossing on it so that various parts stand out. You've got it's basically set out the same way as you'd expect any Games Workshop book to be set out. So you've got your introduction, you've got your fluff, and then you've got more of your content. So there is a lot of background in this book. In fact, if I'll just sort of flick through, and you can see some of the gorgeous colour prints, loads of detail about what's going on and what has gone on. I'm not going to do a fluff review because we are going to do a table podcast where we cover all the fluff from this book, the book you get in the box set, and the novel, and the novella and the short story, and that should hopefully be out in a week or so. So again, you get your standard lovely pictures of models, all on round bases, or in some cases, let's see if we can find one. I'm not going to be able to now, of course, because I want to something like that where you've got your bases quite well disguised. I wonder if some of these guys in the background are actually on squares. So then you've got the rules, the 4 pages, the now probably quite infamous rules, and then you've got the scenarios for the Realm Gate Wars, which is the start essentially of Age of Sigmar as we know it. So again, this contains more background fluff about what's going on, who's where, what's happening. You've got these gorgeous colour plates that show you on the map. So what you have here is where the various stormcasts are landing and beginning their assaults. And then you move on to the actual battle plans, which are essentially army scenarios. And the most important thing about this, I'll just remove that bookmark because I found the right place, and I'll just read the opening 2 chapters to you because this is quite important. So, few tales are as dramatic as the heroic last stand. Outnumbered, facing desperate battle against an overwhelming foe, one force must dig in their heels and hold on until reinforcements arrive. This battle plan is perfect to reflect the courageous stand of Yakos, Golden Mane Stormcast Eternals against Cole's Gore-Tide. This has already been detailed in the previous pages, but, and this is the important bit, you can also use it to tell a new tale all of your own. Maybe a Sylvaneth branch wraith and her handmaiden find themselves surrounded amidst the golden glades by a seething tide of Skaven and must hold out until the tree spirit king can rush to the rescue. Or perhaps an expedition of Dwarden must hold out amid the ruins of ancient Nihel against howling hordes of Oryx. Whatever you decide, this is sure to be a battle loaded with tense, desperate drama. So these scenarios are not just for the models and the armies that they're set out for in the books. Certainly when I first saw it, and I think when most people first saw this book released, it did look like you were going to get a set of scenarios which would be take these units and play out this particular battle, but that's not how it's set out. So what you have is you have an explanation of what armies to take, which is essentially you choose it in the way that you would for the main rules. Then you have a set of objectives for both sides, a different unique command ability for both sides that you can use instead of the ones that you already have. And then if we turn over the page, let's move this across so we can see it better. It shows you how to set it up, which army goes where, and then we have a explanation of how you play it and the victory conditions. So this is a full scenario to be used for any forces that allows you to play a different game to the quite few scenarios that there are within the rules themselves. And there are a total of 8 of these in the book. They're all relatively unique. This one obviously you start off in the centre. There's one which is kind of like the old watchtower, but not. And then we move on to what we also have in here is we have a set of rules called the Time of War, and these are for playing on the Brimstone Peninsula in the Realm of Fire. So what these do is these give you extra sets of rules for playing in this particular realm. So you can already begin to see, well, there's 8 realms, so conceivably there'll be 8 sets of rules eventually, which will adjust how your game plays. We've got some specific rules for if you're playing with Chaos, and some specific rules if you're playing with Order. We then have some more general rules about playing in the Realm of Fire. So just to go over these, any missile attack that has a range of more than 12 inches, because the missile itself sets fire as it goes through the air, you can re-roll ones for for wounds, which is, you know, quite nice and changes it. You've got clouds of smoke and steam, which means that terrain pieces basically block all line of sight. There is the fireball spell, so all wizards will now know the fireball spell if you're fighting here. The geysers of boiling blood, which allows for extra terrain pieces. Basically you set 6 of these up, so you put down 6 dice numbered 1 to 6, and at the start of the turn you roll a dice, and whichever number you roll, that one erupts, and any unit within 6 inches suffers D3 mortal wounds. That again changes the battlefield slightly, adds areas in the battlefield that you may or may not want to attempt to move into. And then we also have these personal triumphs, which are meant to get if you're playing. Again, you can see this is more of a campaign. So if you get a major victory, you roll on this table and you get something else. But also what this now adds is this starts to add in, for anybody wanting to write their own tournament or campaign packs, this starts adding in some items that you can give to characters and the like. So for instance, my favourite one, just because its back, is the Ruby Ring of Ruin, which you can give to a hero and allows that hero to cast the fireball spell as if it was a wizard, which is essentially what the Ruby Ring of Ruin did in 8th edition Warhammer. So again, we've got some more of these scenarios, so some more detail about what's happening on the run up to these scenarios, which is nice because it doesn't just give it them out of context. And then we move on to the Realm of Light. And again, we have some more scenarios here. This in the main is Nurgle fighting the tree spirits, which again you'll have already seen. But we again have another set of rules. So again, another set of rules, and again this is for playing within the life realm. So always now no shields of thorns. Another set of magical items that you can pick up on a campaign. Some more general rules surrounding how chaos works. Nurgle wizards know a separate spell. So suddenly, if like me, you're a Warrior of Chaos player, you've probably been looking at the Warriors of Chaos set of war scrolls and thinking, well, there's not really any reason for me declaring with most of the models in here which god they follow, because it doesn't really have any effect. Well, now Nurgle wizards know a different spell if they're here, and you know, I can imagine that as we move through the realms, as the other two chaos gods who use wizards are represented, we'll see their own separate spells as well. And then this moves on again, so we've got the rest of the scenarios. And then finally we move on to, he says flipping through, like I say, there are 8 of these, so there's a decent amount of these in here. And looking at them, I could see a tournament being able to say, here is our army composition guide, or comp as everybody calls it, for how you build an army to bring to this tournament, and we're going to use these scenarios, and we'll dice off each game between rounds, or we'll decide which realm it is we're playing in, because it has a different effect. And that would then give you completely different scenarios, which means you're then in a situation having to look and go, I need to build a list to be able to deal with all these scenarios, which hopefully adds something to the play of the armies, and which war scrolls shall take. And then at the end we have the war scrolls for the models in this book. Again, these are all available online. The only thing that I don't think is, and it's certainly not available in the Age of Sigmar app, which I find slightly annoying, as you for the Age of Sigmar app, if you've not looked, you have to have downloaded the iTunes version of it to be able to access this particular war scroll. Sorry, war scroll battalion is the Heroes of the Host, which is quite nice, but like all of the war scroll battalions, they add a little something, but I don't think they add enough to definitely mean that you'll always bring them. So all in, I'm quite impressed with this book. It's not what I think a lot of people were hoping for, which was a book that then told you how to write an army, which I know a lot of people out there are still struggling with the concept of how do I write an army so that I can turn up and just play someone. And I really do think with this that Games Workshop is moving away from that system, and they really want you to have that conversation with your opponent of, right, well, I'm going to bring this, okay, well, I'll bring this. And if you're not in a situation where you can have that discussion directly, well, that's when somebody's comp will come in handy. So you can say, this particular tournament is used, or campaign weekend has used this particular type of comp, I want a game using this type of comp, and then anybody else can turn up with a force under the same comp, and you can play a roughly balanced game. Is it worth the £45 price tag? I think the background fluff alone and the quality of the book makes it worth that. The scenarios and the war scrolls are a nice add-on. You're never going to be using this for the war scrolls, it's far too bulky a tool to be using flick through the war scrolls. You're always going to have them printed out. But it's a nice addition. So yeah, as I say, I think it's worth the money. I'll certainly get £45 worth of enjoyment out of it. I ordered it online somewhere they did 20% off, so it's not even cost me that. I think it cost me £36, which is only slightly more than I'd pay for a hardback codex if I walked into a Games Workshop. I think it's definitely worth the value. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to sitting down and reading it, and I can see it sitting in pride of place on my shelf of wargaming books. So, as always, if you like this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and like I say, keep an eye out either here on YouTube, because I post all the podcasts episodes to YouTube, or via Twitter and iTunes for our podcast review of all the background fluff that'll be coming out shortly. Okay, thanks a lot for listening, guys, and I shall see you later. Bye.